Yo, what's good everybody, it's your boy Malcolm and I'm back for another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Now, maybe you saw my last video, which was a spoiler-free review of Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This is the full spoiler review. We're gonna be talking about the movie, the moments, everything good, everything bad. We really gonna get into the nitty-gritty. Now, if you're wondering why I did two reviews, it's because last time I went to an early screening for a movie. I did a review for Godzilla x Kong, and people were not happy because they said that I put out a spoiler review too early, spoiled stuff for people, and everybody was upset. So from now on, whenever I go to early screenings, I'm gonna do a spoiler-free review, and I'm going to do a review with spoilers. This is my review with spoilers. But before we get into that, make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It would help me out a ton, and please, hit that noti bell. Y'all should be knowing when I drop videos. I know I put the notification everywhere on my Instagram story and Discord and everywhere like that, but y'all should get notifications yourselves. And if you want more nerd content, I have a podcast where I talk about 3 hours worth of nerd content every single week. It's called The Storm Podcast, where me and two of my homies talk about all the newest things in anime, movies, comics, and everything under the sun. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I promise you'll love it. But without further ado, let's get into this review. Like I said in my spoiler-free review, I haven't seen any Mad Max movies before this. This was my first one, but my friend told me that this was a prequel, so I ended up going anyway, and it was really good. I don't feel like you need to know all the events in Mad Max in order to enjoy this story. Obviously, it's before everything, so those things don't even really affect it that much anyway, and I feel like they did a good job of explaining pretty much anything I would need to know that I didn't know already. I loved it. Personally, if I had to give this movie a number out of 10, I'd probably give it like a solid 8, 8.5. It was really fucking good. I had a blast. Because first off, I wasn't expecting much. I thought this movie was gonna fall in the same vein of like a Fast and Furious or Transformers or, you know, something of the sort where you don't really go for the story. You go to see cars, guns, explosions, all that shit. That's what I thought I was gonna get, but it actually did have a really good story. It was a classic revenge story, which ended up working out really well. Good acting, good fight choreography. Overall, great movie. I loved it. Okay, so let's talk about the beginning of the movie. Beginning of the movie, Furiosa ends up getting captured and gets handed over to Dementis. We'll talk about him later. He was fucking awesome. But he gets handed over to Dementis. Her mom comes and rescues her. As they're going away, Dementis and his gang is following them up, and the mom says, yo, take this seed and get out of here. Wait for a day, and if you can't find me, go home. Don't even come back for me. Promise me the one thing that I want, my dying wish, is for you to make it home. That's all I want you to do. And Furiosa said, okay, I got you. Dipped off, waited about 45 seconds and said, hey, fuck that promise I just made to my mom. Fuck her dying wish. I'm gonna go get captured and make her sacrifice worth absolutely nothing. And oh my God, that shit made me so mad, because this is like a classic trope that happens in movies, anime, comic, or whatever. Somebody goes and gives their life up for the kid, and the kid goes, hey, forget that, let's make it worthless. And I get it, they're kids aren't supposed to listen, but kids understand life or death, and kids understand that there is nothing they can do. What the fuck was she gonna do against Dementis? What was that little 5-year-old girl gonna do against that grown-ass man with a gang of motorcycles? Oh my God, it pissed me off so much. But even though she was an idiot at the beginning, she grew up to be a boss, and that's what matters. She ended up getting recaptured and raised again by Chris Hemsworth character Dementis, and man, I need to say it, he was the star of this show. It was very obvious to see that Chris Hemsworth was having the time of his life acting as Dementis in this movie. He was wacky, he was evil, he was charismatic, he did a great job. He honestly kind of reminded me of Thor from Thor Ragnarok if he was on crack. That is what Dementis reminded me of, and it was awesome. You know you have a good movie when you're rooting for the villain. Like, I was rooting against him because he was evil as hell, but I was also kind of rooting for him because he was so charismatic, and there were parts of the movie where he was even the underdog. So it's like, I hate him, I want him to lose, but it's kind of cool to see him win. Furiosa ends up spending a lot of her childhood with him until she gets passed over to, I think his name is Immortal John. Remember I didn't watch the other Mad Max movies, so if I get any names wrong, please forgive me. But I believe she got handed over to Immortal John to be a child bearer, which, oh my God, this shit was so evil. The way that they had those girls posted up and they only had them like, their only goal was to just give birth. I don't know. It was really evil. It made my skin crawl. I didn't really like it. It wasn't necessary part of the movie because the movie is to show how evil these people are, how bad it is, how this is a wasteland, post-apocalyptic world. And yes, this did help you get into the mindset of it, but it was really uncomfortable. But this is where Furiosa started to become a savage to me, because when she was ripping her hair out to make the fake wig, so that way when they grabbed her, she could just jump out and run, that 10 out of 10 game plan, all the idiocy that she had as a kid, by this point, she over that. She a genius now. It's time to get down to work. And her grip strength was incredible when she was gripping onto the bottom of the pipe in order to not fall off and get away. She was going crazy. Once again, in pure genius mode, she decides to hide in the Citadel as a boy. I would not have thought of that. If I was her after I escaped, I would have tried to leave and died in the desert somewhere. She made a much better call than I ever would have. And it was great because she stayed in the Citadel. She ended up building stuff. She was working as a builder. It was a special word they had for the builders, but I can't remember what it was. But she was working as a builder until she finally got the chance to sneak onto that big rig that was riding on Fury Road. When she stowed away on that big ass rig, the fight scene of when the people came to hijack the rig, that might be my second favorite scene in the whole movie. We'll get to my favorite one. That might have been my second favorite scene because they were so fucking creative trying to take this rig down. They were in that bitch jet skiing. They had parasails. They had parachutes. They were going crazy. Did they end up getting the job done? No, but they did work really hard and they kind of deserved it. And like I said in my spoiler-free review, the choreography was impeccable. When you think of choreography, you think of hand-to-hand combat. You think of ducking, dodging, swinging. You don't really think about cars and how cars driving up to each other and them trying to get on the car, mantle. There wasn't a whole lot of hand-to-hand action or even that much shooting that really went on in that scene, but the choreography was impeccable. I loved it. It was perfect down to a T. Even when you see like the cars get caught underneath the big rig and it flies under past her, it felt like I was on that rig trying to protect it. You really felt like you were there. And unfortunately, everybody ends up dying and she's the only one left. One of the funniest scenes in the movie where she was trying to take the rig from bro and he stomped on the brakes, he smashed her face in the console and he just pushed her out that whip and took off. Now, obviously, he did go back for her because, his whole crew just got murked. He needed somebody and she's obviously a fucking savage. So it only made sense to add her to the crew and he turned her into a boss. He turned her into Furiosa. I do have a question for the Mad Max fans. I'm gonna go back and watch the other Mad Max movies, but I do wanna know, why do they have their foreheads black? Like the drivers, Furiosa and the other guy, whatever his name was, their foreheads are like all the way blacked out. I don't know what that is. It looks dumb to me. I'm sure it means something, but I don't know what the fuck it means. But he took her under his wing and turned her into even more of a boss than she already was. And he knew that she was trying to escape and he was like, yo, I don't care that you're trying to escape. I want you to get there. I'm not gonna try to stop you. I'm gonna give you the tools that you need. Help me out. I'm gonna help you and you can go home and be cool. I'm not even gonna ask to go with you. You just make it work. And then comes what I believe is supposed to be their last trip. I'm pretty sure when dude changed the configuration of everything so Furiosa would be in a car by herself, I think that was supposed to be her chance to leave. I think he was expecting her to just leave, which she didn't do, but he was expecting her to just dip off and leave, but she followed and they go to the bullet farm that Dementis has absolutely overtaken and is like, yo, it's time to get popping. The dude in the rig gets trapped in the bullet farm and here is where they show the bond that Furiosa and he has made, shows her training of how good she's become and showed that she is the exact same idiot that she was when she was a little kid. Because this was her chance to leave his ass and go home. Yes, I know she rocked with him, but it was literally an entire army against just them. Did they end up coming out victorious? Kind of, but she should have just dipped. If she would have just dipped and left, her life would have been fine. She threw her entire life away to try to save that dude. She should have left. The choreography of the fight in the bullet farm was almost better than the fight on the rig on Fury Road. They were going crazy. When she got the sniper and was sniping that Dementis, and he grabbed dude, had him shoot the rocket with his body in front so he would get shot. If there's one thing that Dementis showed me in this movie, he was gonna live. He was gonna do everything it took for him to stay alive. Well, until he didn't. But for the most part, he was working hard. They made it away, and one of the hardest scenes to watch in the movie was when they tied him to the back of the motorcycle and made him run around in circles until he just couldn't anymore. It was just getting dragged by the motorcycle while she's hanging by her arm and has to watch it for hours. I don't know how long she actually watched, because as we saw, she cut her own arm off to escape. She was thug to the bone. That shit is crazy. I don't get how she got out, because it was literally a circle of motorcycles going around and around and around. I don't know how she would have made it outside of that circle, but I guess we're just supposed to pretend like, yeah, that made sense. But she gets back to the Citadel, gets a new arm, gets the coldest whip that we saw in this show, and goes to track Dementis' bitch ass down, and she does it. Dementis don't make it easy. He splits up, he gets the gang to split up, he tries to make it away, and when he thinks he made it away, he goes to sleep. In the middle of the night, she pulls up, cut his water, he don't have no water no more. Took the wheel off his bike, he don't have no bike anymore. Took the bullets out the gun. She became a cold-blooded killer. And once again, it showed her genius, because I wouldn't have thought all that shit. Maybe I would have thought of taking the bullets out the gun. Maybe I would have thought of taking the wheel off the whip, cutting the water, putting the fake knife in the boot. She was 6 steps ahead of him, and it showed. But even though she outsmarted him, even though she overpowered him, Dementis didn't give a fuck. And it was the best scene in the show, where he is sitting there, clearly done. It's over with. She's literally screaming at him, saying, "Give me my mom back. Give me my childhood back. I fucking hate you." And he's like, yo, I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, I'm empty. I'ma do what I gotta do, and so will you. And I was like, damn, this dude really is evil. He doesn't give a fuck about anything other than himself. And at this point, he doesn't even care about himself. He's like, yo, I lost. It's over. Kill me. Actually, this is the best way for you to kill me. This is the way you can kill me that'll hurt me the most. Kill me like this. And she's like, and she does it because she kind of has to kill him. But man, that scene, her acting and his acting were both on 10. I don't know how long they practiced that shit, but they killed that scene. Easily the best scene in the movie for me. 10 out of 10. And after that, she goes back to the Citadel, steals all the women, and leaves. I haven't seen the other Mad Maxes, but to my knowledge, the next movie is about her stealing them. I think it's about Immortal Joe or whatever his name is, trying to get them back. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I haven't seen it, but I am gonna go watch it. This movie was great. I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to watch it. If I didn't get invited to that screening, I probably wouldn't have went, because I've never really had any interest in Mad Max. But now that I know it's as fire as it is, I'm gonna go watch all of them. I don't know how many there are. I think there might be a lot, but I'm gonna try to watch all the Mad Max movies, because these were really good. And hopefully there's a decent amount of Furiosa in them, because I think that she is an awesome character. I think she's a boss, she's a savage, and she's great at what she does. Overall, I would give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Honestly, it's one of the better movies that I've seen this year. I can't lie. That Planet of the Apes movie was heat. I forgot to do a movie review for it, but damn, that shit was good. That Planet of the Apes movie was probably better than this, but this movie was still really, really, really good. Please let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments, and if you have not done so already, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can see my next video. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.